Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This episode is going to be with another buddy of mine, Mr. Andy Freeman from AA Outdoors TV. If you don't know who they are, go to YouTube, type in AA Outdoors TV, and go watch all of their stuff. They filmed the second annual bow shoot, and I believe also the first annual bow shoot that we had last year. Andy is a really good friend of mine, really good hunter. The dude knows what he's doing, and in this episode, we're pretty much going to talk about our strategies for early season, some of the deer that we've got on camera, some of the deer we've had on camera. So it's going to be a really fun episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. If I got a little too harsh, sorry, but, don't come after my boys. So anyway, before we get started with this episode, as you know, for those who have been listening for a while, we got to get the partners out of the way. And there's a lot of stuff that's been happening. So first off, I want to bring up VPA. VPA is Vantage Point Archery, and they just dropped a new broadhead. It is the Omega with bleeders. If you don't know what the Omega is, it is a single bevel broadhead that I used last year and I loved it. No penetration issues. Dude, when I shot my doe with it, that arrow was like 3/4 of the way into the dirt, and so it did its job a little too well. But the Omega is a really cool broadhead, especially with these bleeders now, so you get that added benefit of the bleeder blades. I believe that they right now are only selling them in 150 and 200 grain. It will be coming out with more sizes. They will also be coming out with left bevel. I don't really know when that is, and we are going to have them on. We were supposed to have them on this week, but there were some scheduling issues. So I figured, you know what, let's get one of my boys and let's do it that way. But yeah, man, VPA is an amazing company with amazing products. They have over 80 different broadheads you can choose from, all ranging from 100 grain to 300 grain. I've heard some rumors about some 600 grain ones too, which is insane to me. I didn't know that people could hunt whales. But yeah, man, VPA is a great, great company. And we are very blessed to be working with them. If you want to check their stuff out, go to vparchery.com and use the promo code SEBH10 to save 10%. Next up is going to be Summit Tree Stands. Summit they were literally like the second or third, maybe even the first company that partnered up with us way back in 2022. And dude, I haven't looked back, honestly. Dude, I can't even, it's hard to put it into words how great a company Summit is. They are a staple in the climber tree stand industry, really just the hunting industry in itself. Really good people there. I am very blessed to be able to call Jake a friend of mine. And, I'm really excited to get my Dual Threat Pro SD into the woods this year. I've got some really, really good opportunities at bucks this year. And that tree stand is going to be key for me getting in the tree quietly and be able to send one of those victory arrows through the pump house of one of those deer. So yeah, man, Summit is an amazing company. They come with, or they make amazing products. There's really nothing else I have to say other than go to summitstands.com and use our promo code that y'all have absolutely been killing it with. That code is SEBH15 to save 15% site wide. And I promise you won't regret it. So go check them out. Next up, dude, is going to be Osseo Gear. Joe Miles is by far one of the best deer hunters I know. And Osseo Gear is by far one of the best camo companies that I know. So we are very blessed to be able to work with them. I've been telling y'all for a few months now, we have this new code that gets you more percentage off. It is 15% if you use the code SEBH. That covers site wide. Osseo Gear is obviously a camo company. So go head over to OsseoGear.com. Deer season is like 60 something days away, man. It'll probably be less than that when this episode drops. So look, just take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. If you want to check them out, I highly recommend you do. Their products are, made in America, very well made. And just the camo pattern is out of this world. So OsseoGear.com, check out everything they have. Use that code SEBH and that saves you 15%. Next up is going to be Scout Tech. I was hanging out with Ryan last week and got to see the Scout Tech headquarters. I've been told a couple of things that are coming down the pipeline, but if you're currently using Scout Tech, I'm sure you know about that new app update. If not, I really recommend you check them out. Scout Tech is a self camera company that is honestly better than some of the bigger names that I've used in the past. Their app has so many things that you can change on demand too. So go to oh my God, I can't talk. Scouttech.com and check out the deals that they have going. You can get 2 shadow cell cameras for $100, which if you see what the price used to be, dude, that's a steal. All right. A lot of my buddies have been picking those up. Ryan was telling me about some of the shows they've been at and how it's been amazing. They also sell seasonings, which I'm a huge fan of. Your boy loves to put seasoning on literally anything. So yeah, man, go to scouttech.com and check them out. Let's see who else. Bergie Bowsmith, dude, amazing bow tech. We have some things in the works for 2025 that I think you guys are going to be really excited about. So go to Facebook, Instagram. I believe he's got a website. I'm not really 100% sure, but check him out on Facebook and Instagram for sure. Bergie Bowsmith. That dude can literally tune any bow and make it shoot like you've never seen. Next up is going to be Ace Hardware, Social Circle. Those are my boys. I'm actually going out there tomorrow at the time of recording this. Having some arrow flight, weird arrow flight. Has nothing to do with my arrows, but it's something with this new bow is not right. And that's not a knock on the bow. That's just the way that it was set up, or maybe it's something that I did. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to go over there tomorrow, get it checked out, see what's going on. I've got some parachuting going on at kind of close distances that shouldn't be happening. But yeah, man, Ace Hardware is the place to go. Speaking of bows, you can see it behind me. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, I switched from an Obsession to a Bear Whitetail Max. And aside from whatever it is that's causing this weird arrow flight, I personally think it's rest contact. I think that the fletchings are hitting a rest. Maybe my timing's off when I did it. I don't know. But the bow itself is amazing. I am not partnered with Bear, but I'm giving them a shout out because this bow is fantastic. It's extremely adjustable, super smooth draw. Dude, there's so many things about this bow, and I mean, for the price point, you're basically getting a flagship bow. So go check out Bear. I mean, hey, shout out to Bear, man. Maybe some stuff with them will happen one day. Who knows? But I've always been a huge fan of Bear archery. So, I figured with how well this bow has been, how comfortable it's been, how, adjustable everything is, I figure I might as well just give them a shout out. So let's see. That might be everybody. If I'm forgetting anyone, I'm sorry. I know one that I really want to start talking about is Camo Dust. Long story short, Camo Dust is a scent control company where it's unlike anything else. If you use those sprays, man, you've probably been winded more than you would like to admit. I know I was. But then when I switched over to Camo Dust, I have not gotten winded at all. And I know that kind of sounds like half the things you'll hear these people say, but I'm telling you the truth. If you do the method right, that stuff works. So go to camodust.com and check out everything they have. I'm buddies with Chris, and I know a lot of really good hunters that use Camo Dust, and they swear by it. They don't do anything else. But other than that, that's pretty much it for all the partners. Thank you to everybody who helps make this podcast possible. But I do need to give credit to the one who makes everything possible, and that is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I've had some people reach out to me and say, man, we really love, how you're open about your faith and stuff. And it's really nice to hear because not a lot of people do that. It's not about that. And I do appreciate that, guys, but it's got nothing to do with what I'm doing. It's what he's doing. God is always working. Okay. And I'm not going to throw this down anyone's throat. I'm not going to throw it in your face or anything like that, but he has changed my life so much, and everything that we get to do with this podcast, everything I get to do in my life is all because of him. I have an amazing family. I didn't have that before. Not saying my family before I got married was bad, but it's just when you get married and you have a kid and things change, you kind of get a different perspective, Dude, I'm telling you, he has blessed us, me and my family, beyond words. And look, we're all going to hit tough times. Okay. It happens, right? Especially in this economy and the way that, things are going. It sometimes can get pretty dark. And without him, I don't know where I would be. I know I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys, recording myself on this computer right now. So I have to give him all the credit. Everything that has happened in my life, that is good, I know is from him. And sometimes even the bad things. And I say that because, we have to get tested in our faith sometimes. And, God will allow certain things to happen for us to grow. right? Like we just had no AC for 5 days. And there was a lot I learned from that. It basically made me learn, like, when something like that happens, take care of it. Okay. Don't just sit around and be like, oh, it's hot. Get up and do something about it. I think that's why, God let that happen because I don't know, man, I can get lazy sometimes. And I think that was his way of being like, hey, dude, get up, fix this, figure out a solution and do it. And we did. That's why I'm sitting down here right now. We almost didn't have an episode this week. I know this is kind of a long intro, but a lot has happened. So for those who hate the long intro, I'm sorry. But as you know, I always have to bring up the Lord and share, what I feel he wants me to say. So, yeah, that stuff's been on my heart a lot. And again, thank you to everybody who listens. Thank you to all the people that work with us. A couple people I would kind of recommend for you guys to check out. Like I said earlier, Bergie Bowsmith, Social Circle, Ace Hardware, Bow Shop, Outdoors with Thor. If you listen to last week's episode, Thor's got a YouTube channel. Go check him out. Go check out my buddy Brock's YouTube channel, The Chase. Obviously, Double A Outdoors TV, and Dustin Huff. All these people, man. Like this podcast has opened up so many doors to meeting new people and making new friends and stuff. It's crazy, right? Like it gets to be a lot to remember to sort of talk about. But anyway, now I'm rambling. So all of that said, look, it's gonna be a really good episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Check out the YouTube channel. So you can see me and Andy go back and forth and rant about stuff that, maybe some people don't want to hear and maybe some people do want to hear. But anyway, let's get into it with Andy Freeman from Double A Outdoors TV. The bearded wonder, the man who seems to somehow always get on big deer from what, as long as I've known him, helped me out with my public land hunting when I first got into it. We got Mr. Andy Freeman from Double A Outdoors TV back on again. Dude, I mean, what's been going on with you, man? There's been a lot going on. I know that you guys just moved. I heard some stuff about some new partnerships. Why don't you give the people an update before we get into the nitty gritty stuff?
Yeah, man, we moved out of Jasper County and moved down to Baldwin County by Lake Sinclair. Really like it down here. It's a real good area. We had looked down here before several times, and liked it and was trying to find a place down here and found a place and moved March the 27th, I think, when we moved, right at the end of March, right before turkey season started. And yeah, we like it. Got a new partnership with Twitch Paws, fishing apparel company right here in Georgia, in North Georgia up there. Got partnered up with them, and he gave me a discount code for this. They got shirts, hoodies, hats. What else he got? Decals. He got microfiber cloths for your boat, hang up. And our discount code for all the listeners out there, if you want some, TwitchPawsUSA.com is DAOTV10. That gets 10% off your order or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of that stuff, man. You keep sending us, photos of everything in the group chat, and I'm like, oh, dude, stop making me want to spend money. I spent enough, all right? I don't need to spend. I just spent $800 on fixing my AC unit. I don't need to spend any more.
I know y'all hated that.
Oh, dude, I said it in the intro. I feel like it was God's way of being like, hey, man, I'm gonna throw something at you and see how you respond to it. And it, at first I was freaking out, right? Because and I know this has nothing to do with hunting, but a little bit of insight. I had a company come out. I'm not going to throw them under the bus on here, but I had a company come out and give us a quote, and it was like more expensive than my truck was, right? So I called another guy who is friends with my grandparents, and he came out, fixed it for like $300. I bought the part for $5, and they had me back up and running in an hour. And I was like, hey, man, what kind of price would you throw at me for doing this whole system? Because our system's pretty old. And he was like, oh man, it'd be like 75, 8,000. I was like, yeah, that's about half of what the other company. Hey, what's up, girl?
Just bumping in to see what y'all are doing.
Yeah, talking about you, talking crap, telling about my AC unit. Oh, he's so sweet.
Guest appearance.
Yeah, little guest appearance. That's funny. Yeah, man. It just, I don't know. It was one of those things. It's like when you get a text at like 6 o'clock in the morning from your wife saying it's really hot in this house. And I already knew, right? Because the day it happened, it woke me up at like 3:45. And dude, it was terrible. And so I'm like, all right, well, when I get home, I'm gonna check the breaker. Obviously, that didn't fix anything. But Jessica texted me and was like, it's really hot in this house. And Tiff just came in and was, not whining, but she was like, she's complaining it's really hot. I'm like, all right, we'll turn all the fans on. I'll be back in a couple hours and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, man, 5 days of staying at the old in-laws house. And we're actually going back there tonight. It's a long story, but we're one more night, just to make it easier on Jessica, and then we're back, and I ain't going nowhere. So yeah, that's been my past 5 or 6 days. So,
Dude, you don't take stuff like that until you got to go without it. So you know what I'm saying?
When you have 5 fans running in your house and your cat is yelling at you because it's hot, you kind of learn something like, all right, this is important. So we may be getting a new system. I don't know, man. I mean, it's up and running now. I think we're hopefully got only like a month or two, maybe a month left of this super hot stuff, and then we'll be back down. I mean, this morning I had the heat on. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I literally had the heat on it. It was ridiculous.
It felt really good. The humidity
Dude, it did. Do what?
I said the humidity dropped way down last
Oh,
night.
yeah. See, I felt good, man. And those deer loved it too. So kind of going back to the hunting stuff. Have you got any cameras out yet?
Yes, I got 3 cell cameras out, 2 regular cams out, but I have yet to get a shooter buck on a picture of a shooter buck yet at any of my spots. We got permission to hunt here behind the house. I actually got 12 acres right here behind that. Right out the back door, there's a big doe that like practically lives in our yard. Alicia named her Lucy. She's probably a 2-year-old doe. She's about 100 pounds. Pretty good sized deer, but she's probably out there right now outside that window. Doubt it.
Didn't you send us a picture of a buck that you had back there?
Yeah, look, I got a 6-pointer and another little scrub buck. I couldn't really tell what he was. It was a broadside picture, but that's the only buck pictures I've had. Was right here. I ain't got none at the club. I don't know what's going on, but one of the other club members told me yesterday that they were thinning on the north end of the property. I didn't know that, so that may or may not have something to do with it. I don't know, but
yeah,
I ain't got worried yet. But
nah, you'll be fine.
Because y'all been sending pictures and stuff, and I'm like, man.
I know. Yeah, I felt bad this morning, dude, when I sent you that picture of that new 11. So I guess I'll just give an update on what's been going on. A lot has happened this summer, but for the people who don't know, I basically got trike trained. I feel literally like I have that deer trained, dude. Like me and Tiff went out yesterday. I made her carry a bag of feed. It was only a little 6-pound bag of buck bourbon, but I put out a feed block and that. And when we pulled up, I told her when we pulled up, I'm like, listen, you might see trike. I was like, because I've seen him twice now in the past month, every time I come up here. And he's freaking huge. I was like, so if you see him, don't freak out, right? Like, don't yell, don't do anything. Just watch, contain the excitement, because that's what I have to do.
Just act normal.
Do what?
I said, just act normally.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, okay. So we pull in, and the way to get to this spot, you go down a little gravel road, and there's woods on both sides. And I see deer in there all the time. So I'm like, look, you'll probably see some does. You might see a fawn. If you see trike, let me know. And it's not a minute, and we've got 2 does and a fawn cross ahead of us. And I was like, oh, look, there they go. I was like, I know those 2 deer. I see them all the time, or those 3 deer. And she was like, oh, that's really cool. So then we go a little further down to where we pull in, because where I'm parking is off to the side of where I'm going to be hunting at. It's a long story. I'm trying to get these deer used to a vehicle being there. That way they don't, freak out.
Right.
And as we pull up, man, there's a doe and a fawn, and they're just standing there. So I kind of inch up a little bit. They move off. They're 20 yards from us when we hop out of the truck, and we walk to the back, drop the tailgate, grab the deer feed. I turn around. They're still standing there just watching us. They don't do anything. And I'm like, all right, well, and she is, I can see it on her face. The kid's freaking out because she's never been that close to a wild deer that's alive, right? So I tell her, I'm like, Tiff, just calm down. Don't yell. Don't talk loud. I was like, let's just feed and get out of here. And that's what we did, dude. And, the doe and fawn watched us walk down there and put the food out. didn't run away until we got back to the truck. And 30 minutes later, Trike shows up. And I'm like, okay, I was right. He's close. I mean, he's definitely close. I've seen him bedded 80 yards away from the feed spot. So I don't know, man. And he's been showing up daylighting like crazy. If I don't kill him, I might have to rethink everything that I'm doing. So, but yeah,
I think it's going to be your year.
dude, all right. So I don't get too superstitious, right? Like whatever the Lord's will is what's going to happen anyway. But I do kind of have to agree to an extent. Like the way that this is going, he's showing up more than he was last year. And I saw him my first sit over there. So if I can make it happen on the first sit, that's the best time. Because after that, he stopped daylighting quite a bit. I mean, he really stopped daylighting as often as he did in October.
Dude,
so,
it's one sit, and they already feel pressure. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, go ahead.
And you won't see him again if he thinks something's different.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's so weird about this deer is like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember how long ago it was. It was probably a week. I went out there and put some feed out, middle of the day, like 12 o'clock. And I pull up and I see the neighbor's dogs. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. There's no deer. And I didn't even look to the left where these deer usually would be. And I look over and I see Trike with that. Remember, I told you about those two does and that fawn? He was with them at the feed site. And this is me seeing him after he broke his main beam, after he sprouted up a lot. And his rack's like half as tall as his body is. It's ridiculous.
He got big this year.
He did. And I told you guys last year, I was like, man, I bet you money he's going to explode this year. And he
did.
If only he didn't break that main beam, he would be a gigantic 6. So that part sucks.
It's got me so curious of how that would happen. If I remember I asked you, was there fences around there and stuff like that? So
yeah. Well, so
it on something or something.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking is like, I guess to wrap that story up, but when I saw him last time, those two dogs, one of them went up back to their house and he didn't care. I mean, he cared, but like he didn't freak out, right? Then the second dog came over and I watched this dog. The dog didn't even know I was there. I mean, I was in my work van, right? But the dog never looked at me. And he just walked by. And as soon as that dog showed back up, Trike just bolted and ran almost as fast as he could to basically behind me. And I was still in the truck the whole time. So I didn't even get out yet. Now I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? You know, like I'm going to have to sit here and wait for him to leave because I'm not going to step out while he's there. And yeah, the way he ran, I would not be shocked if that deer got spooked by something and just happened to miscalculate where he was running and hit that main beam and broke it off. That's the only thing that makes sense.
That's very possible, very much possible. He might have caught it on a sapling or something like that, or
Exactly. So
right now this time of year, them saplings they're real springy and they don't break off. They don't give a whole lot. He could have caught it between a pretty good size one and just snapped it running or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm still going to shoot him if I get the chance, but he is.
Absolutely, I would too.
Oh, yeah. But I will say, though, he, for a second there this morning, he almost got a pass because when that 11 point showed up on camera, I was, dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't know what's happening this year, but I am not complaining. And I haven't even checked public. Like we all need to get together and go pull cards over at the public spot that we hunt because I'm really curious to see what's out there because there was some pretty good deer on camera out there last year. So I'm sure there's something there this year.
Probably got something.
Oh yeah. But that's enough about me, man. What's the plan for this season? What are you guys going to be hunting?
We're still going to be hunting the club here in Hancock. I know Thor got in the club in Hancock. I'm excited for him. Maybe we can, get together and have lunch or something, hang out sometime over there. He ain't too far from where we at, I don't think. So I just planted the food plot, 2 weeks ago? I think, yeah. I was trying to get it in earlier, but I couldn't. And
yeah.
I don't think I'm too late. I just wanted, put something in there for him to nibble on. It was some Pennington Rackmaster dual season. it's already come up. We got extremely lucky and got several rains on it in the afternoon. Some of these showers. You can see it on the trail cam pictures, all the sprouts, especially in the nighttime pictures. I was surprised. They're already eating it. You can see the does. There's like 4 does coming out there every day, coming to the feeder, but they'll like one at the feeder and 3 of them's out there in the food plot, and I know what they're eating. So
Yeah. Did you struggle at all with that, like as far as keeping them off the seed? Because when I tried a food plot last year, I put out clover and I prepped the ground and did everything. And literally that night, the deer came and ate every single seed. And I think one small patch maybe grew up.
I ain't never had really a problem with that, though. Not really. I mean, there's always the biggest between the deer and the rabbits at that spot. I think the rabbits eat more than the deer do. Dude, we were sitting there morning last year when I had planted the oats, and they had already came up, but there was 9 rabbits sitting around and around that feeder when it broke daylight. I'm like, I ain't never seen so many rabbits in my life.
Huh.
And I'm talking about big rabbits. I ain't talking about babies, grown rabbits. But no, I ain't never had a problem with them eating the seeds. It all came up good. I mean, the crows, I know, eat a good bit of them because I got a lot of pictures of crows sitting out there. That's what they're doing. They're picking up seeds that's on top of the ground. But I built me a homemade drag. I think I sent y'all some pictures of it out of an old bed frame. When we moved, one of our beds, my stepson had a king size bed, but it wouldn't fit in his bedroom. So we had a queen size, so we had to like get rid of that one. So I kept the bed frame, the bottom part. It's kind of like angle iron, but it's flat and it's got the middle part. And I got to thinking, I was like, what can I do? I can make something out of that. And I watched some YouTube videos and some guys building some food plot drags. I said, I could make me a food plot drag out of that bed frame. And I thought on it and thought about it. And I finally came up, how I wanted to do it. And I got out there, welded it up, whatever, with my little Harbor Freight welder I got. Done pretty good. But the only thing, I got to add a little bit more weight to it. I found me a log and strapped it to the top of it. I should have done a video on it, but it was 110 degrees that day, and I just want to get it done. But it done pretty good, but it didn't be fun. With it as good as I would like it to. It left a lot of clumps because it wasn't quite heavy enough. But
for the weekend,
what's she saying?
She was asking about some supper tomorrow.
Oh, I was like, all right, what you got to say, Alicia?
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I've tried my hand at the food plot thing, and that's what kind of sucks is like, I've been listening to a few podcasts here this week, but there was one where they were talking about like the whole baiting situation. Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to do it because it costs a lot, like especially these deer over where Trike's at. I mean, I'm going once a week, sometimes 2 times a week because they just eat everything. I put 80 pounds out last Saturday. It was gone by Tuesday, and I was back out there yesterday.
I feel your pain. I put a Nutrax block and 100 pounds out right here behind the house, and it was gone in 3 days.
Dude. You want to talk? You start getting that Nutrax and Trax stuff. I bought a Trax from Chase over at Alpha Roofing and Chasing Limits and all that last week. Guess how long it took for the block to be gone and the feed to be gone?
Probably a day or 2.
It was a day. 1 day.
I don't doubt it.
And I'm like, dude, y'all need to chill. I was like, you've got other food. I've seen you eating it. Why are you coming to this? I mean, I'm glad you're coming to it, but I can't afford to,
I can't either do just like candy to them, though. When they find it, they can't get enough of it. I mean, they'll stand there for 2 hours and eat on it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but, if things work out and I kill Trike opening day or even within the first week, I'm probably not feeding there for at least a week or 2. Like my wallet needs to recover from that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole reason. Do I?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and like that spot in Shadydale that I hunt where that 11 point's at, I haven't been out there in like 3-4 weeks because it's time. It's the money that it takes to get the feed, which that's not really a problem, but it's just mainly the time. And I wish that I could, and I've always said it since I started hunting that spot, because where I'm at, there's like that big clearing. I've said for 3 years now, oh man, one time in the summer, I'm gonna take Gramps', um, I'm gonna take his tractor and I'm gonna, till the ground and throw some seed in there and fertilize it and all this stuff, and I never do it because it starts getting really hot, and it's like, you know what? It's a lot easier to just take, a feed block or a couple blocks and throw them out there and just be done with it for a few weeks. But
It's a lot of work. Food plot is, I mean, it's a lot more work than putting a block in, pouring a bag of corn or feed, whatever, tracking it out. But you got to have some good ground too. If you ain't got good ground, you're wasting your time.
oh, there's plenty of good ground over there. If I showed you photos, the weeds over there are growing like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it just ain't gonna grow anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
down there at my spot, it's like on a high spot, and it was an old loading dock. That's what it was.
Hmm.
And they cut all that, and all that bark and stuff when they was working there, all that rotted and got into the soil. And I mean, the soil it's rich. It's good dirt.
Yeah.
But I did put some fertilizer to it, some triple 13, and it done good. I got to get me a better drag where I can get it after I plow it to get it a better seed bed, and it'll do a lot better.
No, I got the perfect answer for you. Here's what we do. Alicia drives the 4-wheeler. You stand on the drag, and then she just pulls you around.
And that would work in theory out there. So
I mean,
not like it too much.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, save money where you can,
Yeah, you're right. I got a couple pieces of steel from work today and the other day that I'm gonna put on. I actually brought it back to the camp down there where we got power, so I can take my welder and grinder stuff down there and work on it there. I ain't got to bring it all the way back home, so that'll be good. So I'm gonna do some improvements. I might do a video on that.
I think you should. Yeah, I mean, I do a video on it because, I don't really watch food plot videos just because I know I'm not going to do them. And the public land that we hunt, they have their own food plots, so it's kind of like they're doing the work for us, which I really appreciate. But it's just, man, I've got a green thumb when it comes to anything but a food plot. I can literally grow anything, but when it comes down to a big open space, I've never really put in the time to do it, mainly because I don't have the time. But one day I will get a food plot put out and save probably a lot of money because the amount of time and money I spend going to the store, picking up the feed, putting it out, and then going again the same week, like I'd get my money back in a month with a food plot.
You will, because like down there, if the feeder runs empty, they still got something to eat. They're going to come out there. You know what I'm saying? They're coming to that spot.
Yeah.
Regardless, because they got green to eat or corn. You give them an option. And I put a salt lick in right there off the food plot. I think I showed y'all the deer. It wasn't there a week, and they was in there licking on it already. I was really surprised. I really didn't expect them to use it that fast.
Yeah.
But I think
I've never had good luck with those.
I think it rained on it. I haven't never had good luck with them either until later, like after it all dissolves down into the ground before they used it. But them deer, it's straight salt still laying there. They was in there licking on it.
Huh. Is that the stuff you get from Tractor Supply that they have for like horses and stuff?
Big Six mineral or something. It was a bag of it, like $9 for that.
Oh, okay.
Man, they tearing that junk out.
Yeah, I mean, I put a bag of that on the rocks buck bourbon mineral out like, God, dude, when did I do that? It was like February or March, and I mean, I had deer on it, but once it was gone, it was gone, and like then the camera died, so I don't even know. That 11 point could be literally bedded back there, and I wouldn't even know it. But yeah, man. So one thing I do want to talk about, we haven't really done this much on the podcast, and I figure with you, because I know you so well, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to all of these questions, but this might help out a lot of people. What gear are you using this year? Are you still shooting the Elite? Are you still shooting the Eastons? Like what are you going to be going in the woods with this year?
I got the Elite terrain, pulling 60 pounds. What is my draw? 28-inch draw, I think, with Easton axis, 5 mils. I got victory collars on the front of them. I actually had the guys at Roots over there build me some arrows this year, a whole dozen, and man, they killed it. I got some wraps from Michael at the boutique, custom design. I mean, he like read my mind when I talked to him and got those wraps designed. Told him what I was looking for, and he about 5 minutes later he sent me a picture. I'm like, dude, it's like you read my mind. That's exactly what I thought about. And we made one little minor change to them that make it stand out a little bit. But other than that, and I got them wrapped, got AE steel veins on them, and man, they shoot good. They shoot like darts. You seen
You're
them
not having any parachuting issues like I am?
at all? They shoot them better than the arrows from last year. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the veins. I don't know. I got blazers on the other ones factory.
Yeah.
I had last year, and these, I mean, it's like night and day, but it's the same shaft, but different components. But I mean, it's like night and day. My bow like that setup.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Yeah, man, that's the toughest part with having a new bow is like basically finding out what it likes,
Yes.
because, and I think I said it in the intro, and I may have even said it in this episode already, but, the bow itself, fantastic. This new bear is amazing, but don't know what the problem is. I think my rest timing is off because I'm getting some serious parachuting with 5-degree helical to the left, which is what I clocked the bow like 2 days ago. And so I figured out what way the arrow is coming out. It is coming out to the left. So that's the way that I should be doing it. The thing is, when I was shooting the Obsession, I don't know if it's just, like I said, it's definitely not the bow. I know that. But something changed from that bow to this one. And I'm thinking it's the way that the rest is set up, because I showed you before we started recording, I'm clearly getting contact on that whale tail for some reason.
It's contact.
Yeah, I mean, it's hitting, and I changed my draw length to try and, maybe get a little bit less facial pressure. And what's really weird, and I could show you, but the cord connecting the rest to the limb is super tight. And if you look at the tail, it's down flat. Like when I first got the bow set up, the tail was kind of up a little bit. Obviously, to me, that's not good. Like you want it to clear as much as possible. But I'm wondering, what is going on? Like, why is it hitting?
You know what I think? I think your wrist has got out of time. That cord might have moved slightly because my buddy at work, Dawson, he just bought what did he buy? An Elite Encore, I think it was, or something. He's got a Hamski arrest on his limb driven. It set up, and it was shooting and shooting and shooting. And we went and shot one day, and it started shooting wild. Like you're talking about, it started parachuting, and it started fishtailing. He was like, what is going on? And I stood back and watched him. I said, make sure it ain't you.
Yeah.
And I stood back and watched, and I'm like, everything looks good with you. And we started looking at the fletchings, and he had little marks like you had on the fletching, just same thing. So he took it to the guy that set it up. He was like, your wrist is outside. This thing had moved, or something had moved just slightly, and it didn't. I mean, it wasn't enough for you to see it with your naked eye. But if you don't know, enough about it, you're not gonna figure it out. But that might be what it is. I would check that.
And so was that?
What kind of wrist are you shooting?
Hamski primer.
Is the same. That might be what it is. I would.
Yeah.
Really
and it's a great rest. That's the thing, is it's an awesome rest. But what's really weird about it to me is there's like a test you can do with baby powder where you put it on the back of the veins and then you shoot and you see if there's anything on the rest.
Right.
I did that and I didn't see anything. But it's clear, like, just because I'm not seeing that doesn't mean it's not happening, because those arrows didn't have black marks on them before that.
No, it's hitting something right there.
It's hitting something. So
the
I don't know, man.
Only thing your fletching is going to hit is either your wrist or your cable.
And it's definitely not the cable, because I make sure that it clears.
And
you can look on the cable and see if there's any sort of wear, and there's none.
Right. It's something going with your wrist. You need to really take a look at that.
You know what I bet it is?
Probably out of time.
You know what I bet it is? So when and this is so stupid, dude, and this just goes to show that anybody listening, I am not by any means an archery tech. I'm not a bow tech. I can talk arrows all day. I can talk deer all day. You want to talk about bows and rests and all this stuff? I ain't the guy. when I sold, so the whole journey, I guess, to getting this bear was I had the obsession. I liked it. It's a good bow. I just couldn't get comfortable with it. Something about the grip and the way it kind of folded in. I don't know. I didn't like it. So, I finally decided, after shooting it a bunch, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell it. I want to go back to bear. Bear has always been what I shot, and that's probably all I'm ever going to shoot, right? Their bows are just comfortable to me. Well, I had a buddy who wanted to get into bow hunting. I'm like, hey, dude, I'll sell you this bow with some brand new arrows, with some brand new broadheads. I'll give you the full setup. So all you got to do is go to the shop, get it set up, start shooting, and you can literally go hunt this season.
Right.
So in that process, after he agreed to buy it and we set everything up, I had to obviously take my stuff off the bow. Well, old Mark up at Ace is a master and a wizard with knots, because the knot he tied from the cord to my limb on that old bow, I'd spent 30 minutes trying to get that sucker loose, and I could not do it. So I finally said to hell with it. I took my knife and cut that cord just long enough to where you could still attach the cord, but it's tight. I mean, if you saw it, it's barely above the limb where that knot's at. So, and I talked to John and I asked him, I was like, hey, and what's funny is, and John, I doubt, probably said this on his podcast, but I'm sure if I brought it up, he'd tell the story. I went in the day after I bought this bow. Jessica was out of town. I had nothing to do. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go up to the shop all day and just hang out and learn stuff, get my bow set up, double check everything. And when I said to him, I was like, hey, can we fix this timing? Like, can we tighten the cord and fix the timing? He and I both had to I'm not going to say force the cable into the football clamp, but we basically forced the cable into the football clamp. And it was pretty bad. So I'm pretty sure that, visually speaking, looking at the tail with it being like, parallel with the riser, it looks like it'd be in time, but it may not be. And maybe it is in time and the rest is just too high. I don't know. So
you probably need to get him to really check it out.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it that day. I was like, if this cord's too short, do you have anything we can use? And he kind of gave me that face like, yeah, dummy, I do. I was like, okay. I just want to ask, So I don't know. I'll get it figured out tomorrow. I'm going to go up there after work and just hand it to him. Like, John, what's wrong? And, if I got to drop it off for a couple days. What was that?
I said, John, help me.
Yeah. Well, I've been texting him. I'm like, hey, man, I'm getting parachuting. I think I'm getting some contact. And he was like, you might be seeing something that's not there. And I'm like, oh no, it's there, dude. I was like, I know it's there.
It's there.
Yeah. Like when I can see the arrow itself start going around like this, that doesn't happen normally, because the bow I had before, and I know, again, I'll say it again, it's not the bow. The bow I had before, I ran those exact same arrows. The timing on the cable on the rest was right, and it was good. I had no issues.
It's not supposed to go in circles like that.
No.
That ain't what you want to see.
No. Well, and the thing is, like, a high helical arrow can get parachuting, but not like this. This is like I'll give you the best example how I know that I'm getting contact. Now, I know we're talking about this a lot, and I'm kind of ranting here, but when I built a new Victory. Yeah, see, that's how mine are, except they're to the left.
Yeah. Those I think he got those at 3 degree, 2 or 3 degrees. I can't remember.
Shoot, let me see it again.
Can you see it?
No, that's like 5 degree. That's like what mine are. Yeah.
I told him to put me some helical on it, because these are my old ones from last year. Those are factory.
Yeah, that's about a 2 degree offset usually.
I want it a little bit tighter, because these, I mean, they were a little bit, but the tight as those fly, man, if I shot at the same spot every time, I would bust all of them arrows, and I mean, they would all be touching. It was just nuts.
And that's the thing is, heavy helical in certain, I guess, applications will parachute, but most of the time, especially for the distances we're hunting, it's not going to matter. They shouldn't parachute till you get out to like 80, 90 yards.
I mean, you're gonna before you have any issue with it.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm convinced that there is, aside from those black marks on the veins, I built a new, I say new, it was really one that I shot that I decided, I wanted to, I didn't decide. I had veins start to come off, and I was like, well, I'm just going to rebuild it. I've got a fletching jig. I'll just do it myself. Built that arrow, shot it a couple days later, and the first shot, I'm telling you, because I use lighted nocks, especially pretty much all year, but with deer season coming along, my setup I have is the setup I'm using. So those lighted nocks, when I shot that arrow, I watched it go like this, and as soon as I shot, it kicked and kicked out, and then started parachuting and then hit. And I'm like, okay, it's hitting something, because that's never happened.
Because when it does that, I ain't no expert, but I done bow hunted a long time. But when it does that, them first two kicks is your initial contact, and then when it starts rolling, it's trying to correct itself.
Yep.
But that, it's out of whack, and it's not going to correct itself. But
yeah. Well, and what's killing me is the grouping. If I shot this bow right now with, well, granted, maybe not right now because it's not sighted in. I have to sight it back in after changing my draw length. But I was, shooting broadheads and field points, and they were all hitting the same spot, but they were parachuting, and that's energy loss. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be fine. I'll get it fixed, but it's really annoying, because it's like.
That's bow hunting, dude. You're going to have all these little gremlins come up, you got to sort through like that, stuff like that. That ain't nothing major. You'll get it straightened out. It's probably, I bet you 90% of it is something in that wrist is contacting somewhere.
Yeah.
But as soon as you fix, you'll be fine. It'll shoot.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll take it tomorrow. At the time of recording this, it'll be the 12th.
I did up. I don't think I got the victory. I got collars.
Yes, sir.
Goes down inside out. I think you probably got the same deal. They fit on Easton arrows too. So
yeah, here, I'll grab them.
But go down inside the arrow, and then it's a collar that goes over the outside. I really like it. They're 50 grain collars, and I still got the same arrow weight, even with the wrap. Same thing. Yeah.
Same exact thing.
But last year I shot a doe. Going back on there, and I didn't have collars. Let me get one of these other arrows. See, these have no collar. That's straight on.
Is that the hit insert?
Yeah, that's the hit insert. But your broadhead is straight carbon right there. There ain't nothing protecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I shot a doe, and I kind of spined her, and it was not actually dead in the spine, but it went right under the spine, and I had a G5 dead meat on it, and it caught the spine, and it just mushroomed the top half of that arrow. But the arrow, I got almost a full pass through. It went all the way to the fletching in that deer's spine, and it was sticking out the other side of her when she fell over. But
and that's all right. So I'm glad you brought that up. So something that Victory does, and I'm sure you've probably heard it in the ad. I know it's in the ad because I talk about it. But something that they've done with this particular half out is basically up to, and for people watching, they'll see it, where the carbon ends here. It still goes up to right there where that little it's at. So it's basically like a hybrid. You've got a hybrid half out collar.
You got a half inch of collar over the arrow end of the arrow. Exactly. Right there.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, having that, look, I'm going to get you to switch to Victory one day.
But dude, I've shot Easton since I started bow hunting, when there was not even carbon arrows. They were all aluminum.
Yeah. Easton's good, man.
19s, and them things look like tree trunks when you come out of the bow.
Oh, yeah. I've seen them.
They look like these daggone crossbow bolts. They was like that big.
Yeah, Easton's good. I've got nothing bad to say about Easton other than the full metal jackets. I'm not a fan of those. But yeah, I guess I'll show what I'm talking about, for anyone else that's dealing with it and who actually watches this. If you look where is it? Right there. You can see that black mark. And then if I turn it right there, you can see there's contact somewhere.
I
don't know, man. But yeah, these arrows, dude, I think I showed you a photo of the when I was up at the shop getting my bow set up, and I first shot with that bow and these arrows. I only brought one because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to hit anything. I'll just bring it to tune it with. I broke it because I hit, and this is the only victory that has ever broken on me. But it hit a metal bar, and
Oh man,
it didn't.
yeah, that ain't never good.
No, I mean literally like right here, right at the tip, the little threaded piece that goes into this was sticking out, and it was turned like out like that. And I was like, dude, I'm over here talking about how these arrows never break. I break one. But,
I mean, steel, of course it's gonna break. I don't care what brand it is.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad, man. It was pretty bad. But no, I mean, so all right, so what broadhead are you going to be using this year?
G5 dead meat and probably these slick tricks that I got from the shoot. I'm probably gonna have 3 dead meats and one of the fixed blades in there. Just I don't even remember what name one was. I got them.
I think it's the standards, right?
Yeah, they was just 3 blade standard heated.
Okay. Wait, 3 blade or 4 blade? I think they're 4 blade.
Yeah, they are 4 blade.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Broadheads, I put them in the case to look. Hey.
Yep, those. Pretty sure those are the standards. Those are good, dude.
Yeah, John. What's on John and Brock gave away? I'm gonna keep one in the quiver.
Yeah, that
run the dead meat, so I'm all about them big holes.
Well, you want big holes, shoot the mega meat.
I would if I was shooting 70 pounds. I ain't got enough horsepower. That 60 ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, that man. I'll tell you what. That jump from 60 to 70 at first was so rough.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably going back to a 70-pound bow next year because
what bow are you looking at?
I don't know, but I'm missing it.
Well,
I shot my buddy's encore over there. And we went over to the range and shot, and he let me shoot it. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, man. The bows nowadays, like 70 pounds, really ain't nothing. Because when I was in the market for a new bow after I decided to get rid of the obsession, I wasn't. I mean, I was looking all over, like looking at lifts, looking at different Hoyts, looking at different bears, all that stuff. And every single one of them, because, I had one bad experience with Josh's bow where it was some old PSE. I don't even remember what it was, but he had it at 70 pounds and I couldn't even start to draw it back. Right. I mean, it was impossible. I couldn't do it for some reason. So after that happened, I was like, oh, dude, maybe I just can't do it. And then I got the obsession. Or actually, what's funny is when I sold my old bear, or I'm sorry, did I sell it first? No. Yes, I did. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I sold the old bear, which was max 60 pounds. And I shot the whitetail max before I got the obsession. I was like, oh, dude, this is great. Right. And then you were with me. Yeah. So, yeah. So then JD wanted to sell his obsession. I decided to help him out and buy it. And, that bow at that time was for some reason I'm not going to say much easier to pull back, but it at that time felt better. Right. And so I started thinking like, oh, dude, I can actually pull 70 pounds. And so I shot a PSE bear, shot the lift, was not impressed. It's not knocking them. It's just all the hype and stuff. I didn't see it. God, what else, man? I don't know. All these bows though, dude, you could get any bow and pull 70 and it doesn't even feel like it,
Bro, the bows nowadays, I mean, they're so efficient and similar in a lot of ways across all the brands. I know everybody. Matthews markets their bows like nobody else. I mean, you know that as well as I do. I'm sure their marketing budget for commercials and ads and paying people is ridiculous, but they're great bows. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, see, here's my problem with like this, and I think I said this to Thor last week, but what I was expecting with the lift was to shoot that bear, because I could have afforded the lift if I wanted to make a bad financial decision, right?
Right.
Thank God I didn't do that, because if I had done that, my AC would probably still be out.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think I made the right choice. But aside from liking this bow more, but I shot that whitetail max and decided to buy it. And then the next day I shot a lift, and I was expecting, because the max is literally half the price of the lift. Like, if you really think about it, the lift should be just leagues better, right?
Right.
But it's not. I honestly was not like, I wasn't surprised by anything. If anything, I was surprised by how it didn't feel much different. So again, I'm not knocking Matthews. They're a great company. They make great products. That lift is a good bow for sure. But I just don't. I stand by what I've been saying is, like, you don't need to buy a flagship, right?
No, not at all. That's not a flagship elite. I mean, that's
No.
a terrain. The sub models, their flagship was the Encore, I think, or whatever. I don't even know. I don't care. But when I went bow shopping, actually went to Ace up there, John and all them was up there, and I shot a Matthews. What did it have? I think it was a Phase 4. It was either Phase 4 or VX3. I'm not sure. It was one of them two. They had some set up, you could shoot ready to hunt bows. They probably still keep them on the rack. But I shot a Matthews. I shot a Prime inline. I shot the Elite. What else did I shoot? I can't even remember. I don't even know what the fourth one was. I can't remember. Them was the only three. Well, no, I'll just tell you that. But the Matthews shot, I like the Matthews. I did not like the Prime. I don't know the back wall on that Prime, man. When you locked in, if you breathed hard, it was trying to go. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like this bow in the Matthews, when you come to full draw and anchor, I mean, you could about let go of it and it'll stay there.
Yeah. Well, that's how this one feels.
Yeah.
Like,
I really like that. The Prime was not like that. I mean, you had to hold that thing. It was like a bull. It was ready to go.
Yeah.
But it shot good, but I just didn't like, I didn't like that. But I settled on the Elite because it felt the best. I mean,
dude, that bow is,
I'm like, this is one, I want this.
Yeah. When I shot that bow last year, I looked at you, I was like, dude, this is way better. And that was, putting it up against a single cam, which single cams are supposed to be more comfortable, but your bow is leagues more comfortable than that.
Yeah, it was really comfortable in my hand, and I liked the draw cycle. It was really smooth, and I liked, so that's what I went with.
Well, they make that bow in 70 pounds.
Yeah, I know. That's what I don't know if I could buy 70-pound limbs or how I could convert it, but I'm thinking I might sell it and use that money to buy a new this year, next year's bow, 70 pounds.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I know that, and this is kind of, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I know that some stuff is coming from a certain company in September. And so I'm trying to work on something for that. But I don't know, dude. Like, if you're going to be in the market, take me with you. Because I love, like, when Josh got his lift, that was one of the most fun days I've had. It's just getting like, okay, this bow, it's 33 ATA. He ended up buying the lift. He shot the Darton sequel 33 and then the lift 33. And I mean, I've shot both of those bows. Like, kind of. I shot the 31 and then I shot the 29 and a half.
Right.
Honestly, I like the Darton more, if I have to be honest with you. Like, the draw cycle was better, and that's the one thing about a bow that I've learned is there's three main things that I really look for. The grip, which I never thought would be a problem. I never thought that mattered to me, but it does.
It does.
The draw cycle, if it's stupid heavy up front, I don't like that. I don't like the thought that when it's cold outside and I have to, try, like, really put in some effort to pull that thing back. I don't like that.
Especially if you're drilling going too, it's even twice as hard.
Exactly. So that, and then the back wall, and this, so Bear, I guess they just started doing this. One thing that Bear has always been, and I feel like I'm trying to throw a sales pitch at you, but for people who don't know, Bear has always been known for like a spongy back wall. And I will say that this bow without the limb stop does have a somewhat spongy back wall. Like when I was adjusting it today, I had to move the limb stop and I didn't move it far enough. When I drew it back, because there's 2 limb stops on the bottom cam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's two draw stops on the bottom cam. There's a limb stop you can install or a cable stop, whatever you want. Well, when I did the first drawback, that limb stop was not far down enough. And so I felt that sponginess. I'm like, oh, that's not right.
Right.
So I adjusted it, and dude, it's the best feeling in the world is when you draw that thing back and you can feel it, and then it just rock solid.
Same way that.
So, and any bow with a limb stop is like that, Yeah. But I'm gonna say it, and it's probably gonna piss some people off. When I shot that lift, didn't feel that. The back wall felt spongy to me. So I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm just weird, but when you're bow shopping, let me know. I'll go with you because I don't know what they've got coming this year.
Like we talked before, archery is extremely personal. You have to be cool with your equipment. If you're not going to be successful. I don't care how much you tune, how much money you throw at it. It's never going to.
Yeah, I mean it. And I know I've done a lot of talking this episode. I'm sorry. There's been a lot on my mind lately, but yeah, like the whole bow thing, man. It's when someone says to me, "Oh, I'm looking at a new bow," I'm like, "Oh, well, what are you looking at?" Because yeah, I've got my preferences, but there's certain things, people might not like my bow. They might not like yours. They might hear this, hear my opinion on the lift and be like, "Oh, he's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about." That's fine, But like you said, archery is extremely personal. So I'm not going to shoot something and that was kind of my problem with the obsession. Is the obsession at first in the beginning, but it was honestly really weird how they did this. But I'm sure Dennis could talk on it, and I'm not knocking them, but it was kind of stiff up front, really smooth in the middle, and then just that last hump, it really kind of fell into it. And I don't know, man. I couldn't imagine myself drawing back on a deer with a bow like that, which is why I switched that and the grip.
That's stuff you need to think about. Anybody out there listening, if you're trying to get into bow hunting or something like that, stuff like that makes a world of difference at the moment of truth. I mean, you got a deer standing right there in front of you, you 20 foot up a tree. Stuff like that is what's going to make or break.
Yep.
You know as well as I do. I mean,
yeah. And what's crazy? You mentioned adrenaline earlier. I remember last year when I first saw trike. All right. And I say the story all the time about getting busted and all that. The one thing I don't say, because I honestly forget about it most of the time, but the one thing I don't say is I did draw back on him.
Did you?
Because he was 45 yards and I was like, oh, dude, I could do it. I drew back. But the crazy part was it was so difficult to draw back because I was so nervous on a 60-pound bow. And yeah, it was a single cam. So it was a little like it shouldn't be aggressive, but that specific bow was for some weird reason. That specific bow was very, at least when I was amped up, aggressive to draw back. And after killing a couple deer with it, it wasn't really anything crazy. So like now shooting this thing, every time I shoot it, I get in that mindset like, all right, envision trike 30 yards away and just get that feeling out of there. Cause dude, I'm gonna tell you, if I miss that deer because of my nerves, I'm gonna be pissed.
Bill.
Huh?
I'm sure you're gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Cause I don't know that whole thing, but like that part of the story, I just sort of leave out because it's like doesn't really help anything. It shows though to people that are new to this because I've had a few buddies that I've become friends with recently that are sort of new. Like I got a guy who is a mutual friend between me and Thor, and he'll call me every couple days, and we just BS a lot. But he's only been bow hunting as far as I know for like a couple of years. And right. I think he's maybe killed like 1 or 2 deer. Yeah. And I tell him, I'm like, look, man, when you practice, you have to put yourself in that mindset. You've got to have like, and I feel this when we go to the range, you've got to be able to just block everything else out and focus.
You got to practice.
Yeah. Like if you don't do that, you are going to have a terrible time.
Yeah. Because, we can shoot on the range all day long because nothing's moving. I mean, it's a static target.
Yep.
When you're in the woods, is, deer ain't gonna stand there and just say, "Hey, shoot me." And they don't do that.
The trike might, the way he's been acting.
They're always moving. They're always picking their head up down. They're always looking
Yeah.
around. They're switching positions, whatever. I mean, totally different. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm excited for deer season. Are you? All right. So before we wrap this up, I kind of want to dig in a little bit about like what you are going to be doing, I guess, 3 weeks out from deer season. Like, are you planning on doing any mock scrapes? Are you going to continue feeding? Have you
Yes.
done any scouting? Like, what are you going to be looking for?
I'm probably gonna be really pouring feed heavy to them like I did last year. I ain't got nervous yet, but I'm sure the bucks are gonna show up. I hope the 3 shooters we had on camera last year is gonna show up before long. But I think that logging going on over there has probably got something to do with it. They're probably holding tight to thick stuff. They ain't really wanting to come out. But we're probably gonna be pouring feed heavy to them, the new tracks and corn, and try to get them on a pattern. We've had more success with that. I mean, early season is my favorite time. I know everybody talks about the rut this, the rut that. Yeah,
Dude,
the rut,
I hate the rut.
but the first 2 weeks of bow season, you can kill your deer right there.
Yep. That's the one thing, dude, I have literally been preaching is if you and see that, and I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but that is a big thing, a huge thing that I really want to push right now is if you don't like, and I know T-Bone talks about it too, but if you don't bait in Georgia, all right, I'm not saying anywhere else, but in Georgia, everyone's feeding, right? I've tried, okay? I've gone out there once, maybe twice, without putting any food out, and I don't see anything. I don't even see a squirrel.
No,
right?
you're not to.
Yeah, because the neighbor has got, 100 pounds of corn out.
Right.
And so my thing with it, I learned early on after I killed Pickles, because what happened with him is I was feeding all summer long, and it was the same. I had him pegged. I had him and Bluey totally patterned. I knew that they were going to come in at some point in the first couple weeks.
Yep.
And the trick I did, and I'm probably going to do this with Trike because he really seems to like either attracts or buck bourbon. Those two things are his favorites. Or this block I put out recently. Like a couple weeks ago, he was there again within an hour. But going in with those little travel bags of feed, especially if you are able to play the wind, dude, that in the first 3 weeks is a deer's death sentence because if you can pattern that, like if you can, I'm not going to say train them because obviously Trike isn't trained. No deer that old. No, he's not trainable. But if you can get it where you put feed out, like I almost can now tell you guys, and I've done it before, where it's like, all right, I'm going to put this, this feed out. I'll send you photos of Trike in about 3 hours.
Exactly.
And he shows up.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's to anybody who doesn't feed that's listening, just try it. Like, honestly, don't go on public and do it because obviously they'll shut the whole place down. But on private land, dude, it makes a world of difference. But after those 3 weeks, the whole game changes.
Everything changes.
Everything changes because I have literally learned you'll get does, you might get a buck here or there, but to people who think that baiting makes it easier, after the first 3 weeks, it makes it harder, almost.
It don't. In my opinion, baiting the first 2 weeks of archery season, early season, is that's when it's going to pay off the most.
Yep.
After that, until you get into late December, like after the rut winding down and they're run down and they get hungry again, it'll pay off again then if you stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they done got burnt out on deer hunting. They doing other things, but
you and Thor.
Yeah, got to get after them. No, but I learned something last year down here at the club that like the second week of December is like, so to speak, when everybody says the second rut. I don't believe in the second rut. It's just the does are coming back in estrus.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't get bred the first time. It really ain't a second rut. The rut goes from October to February. It's just spread out. You know what I'm saying? Really, it ain't real defined anymore, so to speak. Like everybody says, the first 2 weeks of November, that's just when they peak.
Yeah.
They've been breeding before then, and they're gonna breed way after that. I mean, it's just hints.
Yeah, the last week of October, I feel like is the best month.
Yeah, because
You know
that's
what I'm
when they're
saying?
really on their feet. They're cruising.
Yep.
They're looking for that first doe to come in. I mean, they're hunting. They're like we are. They're hunting. You know what I'm
Well, I don't
saying?
know. You and I haven't been hunting for probably a few years, but
Well, I'm saying that's what
these
that's
younger guys.
hunting. They're hunting
Yeah.
for that doe coming in.
Yeah.
They're competing. They want to be the first one. To find that hot doe, and then it's on then. But anyway, the first 2 weeks of bow season is my favorite by far. I mean, the rut was really not that great that at the club last year. Like I seen 7 bucks on a sit one evening, and they was all coming to an acorn tree. They really wasn't rutting activity. They was just feeding because when white oaks start falling, that's where they're at. If you find a hot acorn tree, dude, it's like winning the lotto. You're gonna see. And them deer started filing out of that pine thicket, and it was a rack, another rack, a bigger rack. I started getting really excited, so I picked my bow up, turned the camera on, and I was like, "This might get good in a minute." And here come an even bigger rack, and I was like, "Oh boy!" But then I looked at him with the binoculars, and it was just a big 7-pointer, but he was young deer. I'm like, "Dang!"
Yeah.
But across a ditch, where they come down, the way my stand was set up, it's like on a point, and there's a creek to my right and a ditch that comes down to the left. It makes kind of like a Y.
Mm-hmm.
Got the ladder stand right on the point of that Y. And their trail is on the top of that ridge and on the other side of the ridge on the right hand side. So they it's like a big funnel in there. But they started coming out of there and coming up that trail, coming to that tree. And dude, they stayed there till right before it got dark. I thought I was going to have to sit there till after dark before they left because I wasn't fixing to bump them. I'm just letting them eat. But I was waiting. I was just waiting on the shooter to walk out. I mean, it's like any minute he's gonna step out. Never did, but that was a real fun hunt. But we're gonna be pouring feed to them. I'm gonna plant some oats again this year. Probably I ain't gonna plant them as early as I did last year, so they will do a little better. It got dry. Hopefully we get some rain, but last year it was dry. They come up, but as soon as they come out of the dirt, I mean the deer was hammering it. They really didn't get going like they should have. So I'm gonna wait a couple more weekends this year, maybe the end of September. I planted them the week before bow season last year. I'm not gonna do it that. I'm gonna wait.
Well, you know a guy,
I know a guy.
Paul Jackson.
He's already contacted me. He said, "I got your bag waiting on you whenever you want."
Dude, he kills me on Facebook. He's like, "Y'all want any oats?" I got them oats.
He's a telling you ever met him in person?
No, dude. I want to get him on the podcast. I think I reached out to him a while back. You know who I really want to get on?
You sure?
God, dude, I should know his name. He didn't want to come on. I reached out to him and asked him, I was like, dude, just all I need is an hour of your time. Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
That dude is his stuff, like his videos, man. And I'm not trying to overshadow you guys because y'all's YouTube channel is amazing.
Oh, I know. I watched his videos last night, matter of fact, talking about that.
Yeah. What he does reminds me of when I was a kid and you'd be watching like Real Tree, one of the older Real Trees, and you've got like whoever it was narrating, and they're like, and here we got Marty Jackson, and he's in Texas, and he's gonna be hunting whitetails, and he's going after a big one, and that's what Lee does over his videos. I'm like, dude, I feel like a kid again when I watch that.
Right.
But he, super cool dude. It's just he didn't want to come on, so I totally get it. I'm still gonna watch his stuff. I still respect the hell out of that guy, but yeah, man, that's one person. If I can convince him, I would be so happy.
You should try to get Paul on though. I mean, I know what he looks like to everybody on Facebook and all that crap and stuff, all the junk he talks, but he's cool. He's a cool dude in person. I mean,
well, and it's like Kip when Kip came on.
Right.
Kip talks trash to everybody, but he's just that kind of guy. He's not a bad dude.
He's a great guy. I mean,
that's what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to do it. I don't have the skill for that. So I just sit back and enjoy it.
He's very entertaining.
Extremely entertaining. Him and his red leather seats.
Yes.
Oh man.
But yeah,
well, look, dude.
We're gonna pour the feed to him, and hopefully we can get Curtis Lowe. We named Curtis. We almost killed him last year.
I know, dude. Y'all were killing me with that.
He come out. and Alicia she was on the bow, and he come out perfect, read the script. He was coming to the feeder, and we had a thunderstorm come through there, and you know how they do. The wind started shifty, and I think he just caught a little bit of us that he didn't like, and he didn't hang around quite long enough for her to get a shot on him, but she just about had the crosshairs on him before he whirled and ran. So we got real close.
So what time of the year, like, do those bucks usually show up? Like, when did you guys start seeing big bucks on camera last year?
Like the end of July, like.
Oh, okay. So there's still time.
That's why I ain't too worried right now. But like we get on into August and stuff, and I ain't seeing nothing. I'm gonna start worrying a little bit then.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about like where Trike's at, and I can only relate what I'm seeing to what you guys will be seeing. But I looked at his photos from last year this time, and I mean, dude, night and day difference. Like we're talking, and he still has another month of velvet left. Both of those deer do. So it's like you guys are in for a crazy surprise, I feel like, when those deer show up, because you haven't even seen them yet.
No.
So that first photo, you're gonna be like, holy shit.
Dude, I want to kill a Pope and Young so bad that if I kill a Pope and Young with the bow, I'll probably be done deer hunting. I'll probably just
okay. You say that, and then you'll be like, well, I got my Pope and Young. Now I want to get a booner, a gross booner, and then a net booner, and then a non-typical. It's never going to end.
You know I'm lying, but anyway.
Oh, I know. I got to call you out on it.
I thought I had my Pope and Young with that peg leg buck I killed, but he was 3 inches short, and I was heartbroken, man. I knew I had it.
Man. Yeah, this season's going to be, I think, good for all of us, honestly, because Thor's got really good deer on camera. JD's got a really big 6. I know you guys are going to get deer on camera. Christian has a freaking giant on camera. I don't know where that deer came from.
That book's nice.
Dude, when he sent that, because, like, I feel like out of the group, I'm the only one that really has cameras out all year, right, and watches these deer.
Yeah, I get mine.
Do what?
I said I get mine up. I don't run them all year.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to know what they're doing and see them and see if anything new comes in. And when Christian sent that, because I kind of felt like the odd man out. Like, okay, well, it's April, or not even in April, it was May, I think. And I was sending photos of Trike, and I'm like, guys, look, check this out. Or I got this little 8-point over here. Man, what do you guys think he's going to be? And I started to feel like the only dude that was like getting stuff. Then JD started, sending us photos of that 6-point he's got.
Yeah.
And then Christian sent that photo of that big buck, and I was just like, bro. Oh, you don't kill him.
I hope he sticks that joker, man.
He's probably gonna cry. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm gonna cry if I kill Trike or that other deer. But do what?
I said I would too, probably.
Yeah. A buck like that, even if he shrinks like 5 inches, who cares? It's still gonna be a giant.
Yeah,
I mean I can't wait, dude.
I get tore up over him, son. I'm gonna tell you, if I kill a big one like that, a Pope and Young, I probably ain't gonna be able to talk. I'm just gonna sit there and shake.
Yeah.
It's gonna take
be like me.
Together.
You're gonna be like me last year when I shot that doe after being in the stand for 20 minutes. I'm like, guys, like it's
no. That's me. I don't really get tore up until after the shot, and I know I done made a good shot, and I know I'm going to put my hands on this deer, and I know he's dead. I'll just lose it.
See, that's one thing that I actually learned last year, and I think that the reason last year happened with the shoulder shot doe that I lost, and that which actually I didn't lose her. She came back and was alive, but then that gut shot doe the next day, that last deer that I killed, I was excited. Like I was in the stand. I called Jessica, called my mom, called Thor, called JD. Like I called everyone that answered. And I'm pretty sure I called you and you didn't answer.
I was probably hunting. If I'm hunting,
you probably were. You probably, no, because it was 3:00 in the afternoon. You might have been at work. It was on a Wednesday.
I was probably at work then.
Yeah. But either way, it doesn't matter. I was in the stand, like, kind of shaking a little bit, because obviously after shooting any kind of deer, you're going to shake a bit. At least I do. But I didn't get that rush of excitement, like true excitement, until I got down, found my arrow, complete pass through, blood all over it. and was like, okay, I know where she ran to. There's no way she made it more than 80 yards. I think she piled up at 60. And what's really funny is I know that property so well now that I didn't even have to blood trail her. I was like, okay, she went this direction. It's wide open. If she's dead down there, I'm going to see her.
Yeah.
Dude, I went straight through, got on top of the ridge, looked down, saw the white belly. I'm like, there we go. Done.
Done deal.
60 yards. So if you ever want to try a single bevel, you let me know. And I'll call Ryan and Jeff and say, hey man, my buddy Andy wants to get in the single bevel game. What can we do? Because mechanicals are cool. I plan on using some this year just to test them out. But those single bevels, man, you wouldn't have to change bows. You could literally stick with a 60-pound bow and you would be perfectly fine. So,
I mean, I've heard y'all talk about them. I've never shot a single bevel broadhead. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
no, I know.
I've never tried them. I ain't, I've always shot mechanicals or fixed blade.
Yeah. I mean, it's I haven't had this yet, at least with my bow. I have had it with a crossbow, which is crazy, but seeing them fall and go 20 yards or 10 yards, there's just something about that, dude. I don't really know. I know you've seen it, but it's just like that's the quickest death you could give them, and it's reliable.
Right. I mean,
So,
that's what everybody wants. You want to see it fall. You don't want to have to track it.
yep, I agree. I completely agree, and I can't wait for us to do that.
But sometimes it's hard, especially down there at my hunting club. Dude, if they run 60, 70, 100 yards, it gets extremely difficult because it's nothing but pine straw. You know how hard it is to blood trail a deer in pine straw?
Yeah, I tried it when I shot that doe.
It's rough.
It was
I mean,
really rough. That's why I stopped doing it because I'm like, I know where she is. There's no point.
especially evening hunting when it's done got dark.
Mm-hmm.
You better have a good light. I can tell you that. You better have a real good light.
Man. Yeah, well, I've got about 5 of them, so I'm ready. Hopefully, though, I don't have to use it.
You want me to
Especially,
tell you the best blood trailing light there is? I know if you watch the hunting public videos, you probably already know.
yeah,
A camera light.
like a filming camera light.
Yes.
Why?
It almost makes the blood glow and like it almost
Really?
stands. It's different than a flashlight.
Hmm.
It's got like that filter on it. I don't know. I got one in my bag over there. It's a little one that I run on my camera, but they use it. Watch some of the hunting public videos and watch when they blood trailing deer. He's got the camera light. But they got one like this big. It's a big one. But dude, like it'll light up the whole area. You can see everything.
Huh.
And I learned that last year and I use it and it works. I'm like, man, this is nuts. And it makes it easier. I'm serious. Because like a flashlight, like an LED flashlight, whatever, it's so bright.
Mhm.
Like it almost blinds you, but like the camera light is really soft. It's like one of these LED bulbs in your house. It's like soft.
So it makes it glow basically, but it's not like flooding it.
Easier.
Hmm.
It does.
I just need to get a camera so I can film. But I don't need extra stuff to do in the tree. So I don't know. I've been playing with that idea for a little bit, about filming and all that. I may do it. I may not. I don't know if I have the discipline to do it,
It adds a whole nother level of the challenge to hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I could do it, but it's tough. But it's fun when you make it, when you seal the deal and you videoed it and done all. Because when you self filming, dude, you got to do everything.
I know that's the problem. I already have like
there ain't no
5 minutes worth of stuff that I put in the tree.
Filming over the shoulder. I mean, you're running everything and trying to shoot deer too. So it's a challenge times 10, but it is fun. I'm gonna tell you, it's fun.
You might have convinced me. I might try. We'll see. I just get so locked in, dude. Like when I'm in that tree, I'm not thinking about anything else but where that deer is coming from. And the second I see it, it's like pinhole. Just I don't care about anything else around me.
Right.
That's what I'm focused on.
That's what I mean. I do. Don't get me wrong. I don't focus on the camera. I'm focused on making the shot.
Yeah.
I'm focused on. That's why I'm here. I'm here to take the deer. I ain't here to worry about no video. If I
National
get it,
Geographic.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
I'm shot. I'm not worrying about no camera. I'm killing deer. That's why I come. But usually if I'm self filming, if I kind of know, sometimes you don't know where they're coming from, but sometimes if you hunt a feeder or whatever, a trail, you kind of know where the deer can come from.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll give an example down there last year where I hung my lock on that at the other feeder that I got and down the road from the food plot. But the deer trail comes out right beside the stand. I mean, they come out of the pines. I mean, if they was to look up, they're gonna look right at me. That's how close they come out. I mean, I'm looking at their back when they're coming out. And I had a doe come out. The doe I referenced earlier shot in the spine. That's where I shot her at. I heard her. I heard something walking, but the pines are so thick you can't see them until they almost own you, because there's briars in there too. I mean, it's a real tight spot. Perfect bow hunt. I mean, it's just like when they come out, they're right there. They're in bow range already. But that doe come out and she walked. She done some weird junk. I don't know. She walked up. It had just rained. And she like walked up 50 yards in the edge of the briars and turned right around and come right back and walked down about 50 yards. Like she just like scanned, I guess. I don't know what she was doing really. And then she come back up to the trail where she come out and she just walked out. I guess she was checking. But she come out and I had some nose down out, nose down scent. Good stuff. Y'all need to get you some of that. But she come out. Yeah. She come out and went up. She was kind of quartering away hard, but she went behind some trees. And when she went behind the big tree, I turned the camera on and kind of moved it, and got the frame where I thought she was going to pop out behind the tree. This is self-filming jump. You got to kind of anticipate where your shot's going to be. Because when you come to full draw with the bow, you can't do nothing with the camera. You got what you got.
Yeah.
I know some people, nudging it with the elbow and junk. I ain't finna do all that because that's going to affect your shot. I ain't doing it. But I got the frame of the camera where I thought she was going to come out at, and when she popped out, I stopped her. And I think I rushed just a little bit and shot a little bit high, but it worked out.
I mean, you got it. That's what matters. I
mean, I got good footage and video, so that's self-filming stuff. You got to kind of anticipate, but I got GoPros too.
Yeah,
just different angles. I mean,
I was thinking about doing the Tacticam thing, but I like how my bow feels right now. I don't want to change the stabilizer or anything, so I may get one of those like phone mounts, But I don't know, man. But look, I want to thank you for coming on. Before we wrap it up completely, give us a shameless plug where everybody can find you. I already did kind of say something in the intro about us all getting together and doing like a little preseason podcast shoot. Some people have been asking to come out and hang out with everybody. So, I mean, where can everyone find you, and what can we expect to see in the next month or so?
I'm going to try to do some equipment videos, and maybe, I don't know, I thought about doing like a tree stand safety video or something, with the harness or whatever. Something to fill in before deer season gets here. Y'all go look us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We've really grown on TikTok. Y'all go look at TikTok, AA Outdoors TV. We got almost 2,500 followers on TikTok, dude. I'm like, wow. Come on with it. Get me to 3,000, y'all.
Heck yeah, man.
Go check out the YouTube channel, especially, subscribe. I got like 5 new subscribers this week. I mean, I'm up to 258, I think, which is pretty good. It ain't a lot, but it's a lot.
You're getting there.
It's a lot to me, but I didn't read all the artwork. We got new logos like on your head. I ain't got a hat on, but
yes, sir, right there, baby.
Get some new hats and shirts and stickers made and stuff coming up soon, so be looking out for that. Might sell some of them, try to, but yeah, we excited for deer season. We ready.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Andy, thanks for coming on, brother. It's always a good time to get you on here and talk about literally everything and anything. Started off with AC problems that I was having, to end it with what we're doing this season. But yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a good season for you guys as well as everybody else, man. And I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I hope we seal the deal on a good one.
Yeah. Hey, whatever his will be.
That's it. It's up to the Lord. It ain't stuff, brother.
Amen, dude. I love it. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming on, boss.
All right, man.
Just want to say thank you for listening to this episode of Southeastern Bowhunter Podcast. If you don't mind, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Give us a like and review. Make sure to subscribe and all of that. And, I have to give the thanks to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. None of this would be possible without him. And, I just want to remind you of that. So I'm looking forward to this next episode. I hope you guys are too. And thank you again.